Hey everyone, welcome back to Cody Tarot. I'm your tarot reader, Cody. So for today's pick a card, we're going to be doing a reading about your true self versus how people perceive you. So we're going to be covering how people perceive you in this reading, so how others view you, and we're also going to be covering your true self, or the self that you have on the inside of your being, how you view yourself on the inside, what's going on internally versus what's going on, how people perceive you externally. Then we're also going to get a card to see how to balance the two out if you guys need that in this particular reading, right? So with that said, without further ado, let's get into the four groups. For group one, we have the Snowflake Obsidian. That's group one. Group two, we have the Rhodonite. That's group two. Group three, we have the Prehnite, backed by popular demand. So that's the Prehnite for group three. And then for group four, we have a new crystal on the channel, yellow Leopardskin. So take all the time you need to pick your group. You can pause the video here if you need to. With that said, after you pick your group, there are timestamps in the description box in the comments below, and you can fast forward to the reading that you selected in this intro. So without further ado, let's get into the groups. Once again, pause the video here if you need more time. And with that said, we're going to get into group number one with the Snowflake Obsidian. Hey group one, this is if you picked the Snowflake Obsidian. So let's get right into your reading. So first, I would like to pull a animal oracle card for your true self, and then also how people perceive you. We're gonna have how people perceive you on the right side of the table. Your true self is on the left side of the table. Let's keep it simple. Okay, so let's see. Let's draw a animal oracle card for your true self. We have the otter, and we need a animal oracle card. We have perfect for your how people perceive you. We have the elephant. So I'm going to pull these a little closer together. There we go. And then I'm going to draw some tarot cards for both how people perceive you and your true self. Remember, we have your true self on the left and how people perceive you on the right. We need 3 cards for how this group one's true self. This one doesn't want to go back on the deck. I'm taking it. Queen of Cups. We have the Sun, and we have the Chariot. And then we need 3 cards for group one's how people perceive them. How do people perceive group one? This card wants to come out. We have the Star. Interesting. Let's see what else comes out. So we have this card doesn't want to go back in. We have the 8 of Swords, and we have the 5 of Cups. I think I can pull these closer to the side. Sorry guys, I know I take forever arranging the cards. Okay. Now I also want to get a playing card to represent who you truly are and how people perceive you. I have been studying a form of cardology, so now I like to use these for divination. Okay, let's see. For how your true self is, we have the Ace of Clubs. And then we have, for how people perceive you, we have the 2 of Diamonds. One last card, and then we'll get right into your reading. I'm going to pull from this deck of crystal reading cards by Rachel Charman. So let's see what card wants to come out for the unifying element between your inner and outer selves. What is the theme for the unifying element between the inner and outer selves? We have Mother Earth. Cool. Okay. Is that right? I'm gonna do this. There we go. Okay. Didn't expect this. But let's get into your reading. So we're getting a lot of messages about your true self. And then we're getting some messages about how people perceive you. I think more will come to me as we get into the right side of the reading. But as far as your true self goes and how you probably perceive yourself, we see here with the Sun and the Otter card, you definitely perceive yourself as very playful, very fun-loving. Also with the Ace here, you feel like you're very independent, like you don't need anyone. You kind of can be on your own pretty easily. With the Queen of Cups here, I'm also getting this vibe that you guys feel like you're intelligent, that you're problem solvers. I'm also seeing that again with the clubs energy for the Ace of Clubs. You guys feel like you can pretty much do any kind of project solo and take it on and solve it because you feel like you're smart enough and you're intuitive enough to solve these problems, right? I feel like you guys have a very can-do attitude as far as like how you view yourself. You view yourself as someone who can do a lot of things, and it's almost like you've kind of like achieved this position. With the Chariot here, this also shows how motivated you are. There's this vibe here that you guys are like very motivated, that you're able to kind of take disparate elements within yourself and move them in one unifying direction. And that's how you guys get things done, essentially. I feel like with the Ace here, you guys start a lot of projects. You guys are self-starters as far as projects go. And with the water sign above the Otter doubling with the Queen of Cups energy, I see that you guys feel you're very intuitive. So it's one of those things where people might have had to like wanted to pigeonhole you in the past and say like, well, are you more logical or intuitive? Or are you more feeling? Are you more emotional? Are you more, what are you? Are you more in real life? Are you more down to earth? Like people are trying to figure you out a little bit, I think. And I think that's the thing, is like the true self inside of you is like all of these things is kind of what I'm seeing. Because we have the clubs here, which represents intuition and logic. We have the Queen of Cups, which represents intuition and emotion. The Chariot, which represents willpower, right? Being able to accomplish things in the outside world. I also see that you guys see yourself as sort of like a traveler. There's kind of this vibe that you guys have this ability to kind of go anywhere and feel at home wherever you are. With the Sun card here, I feel like you guys feel very positive and optimistic on the inside. Like you probably think the best of other people. You probably think the best of different situations in life. And with the Otter here, you're very, very playful is kind of what I'm seeing. Also with the Otter, I'm seeing you guys don't take things too seriously at the same time. Like you kind of joke around, you're pranksters. That's kind of how you guys view yourself. I feel like with this Sun card and the Chariot card, another thing about you guys, about yourselves, is with the Sun card, we have this child here and he's holding this kind of stick or staff. And then in the Chariot here, we have this grown man also holding a stick or a staff. I feel like also with the Queen of Cups here, I'm seeing a little bit of a progression for your life. There's almost like you had a really strong relationship with your mother, or your mother played an important role in your life. I'm seeing with the Queen of Cups here that your mother was a very nurturing woman, or very much took care of you. If this is not a woman, this is a male figure that had a feminine side. This could be like a male figure who took on traditional feminine duties, but there is no such thing as traditional feminine duties, but in the realms of this reading, there's maybe cooked for you guys or cleaned for you guys or something like that. But yeah, there's someone who was very gentle and nurturing and kind of intuitive themselves, and you guys kind of picked up a little bit of their personality, whoever this was that took care of you. I see that they were also a problem solver. There's a lot coming through that you're a lot like this parental figure that took care of you. You guys have a lot of similarities. It's interesting because I feel like one thing about this parental figure is they were trying to take care of you, and you kind of, how do I put this? You wanted to branch out on your own. You wanted to do your own thing. You wanted to be independent. You wanted to like be your own person right away in life. With the ace here, I'm saying that you guys have this ability to kind of stand alone in situations. With this sun card, I'm saying that your childhood was very, very happy. And also with the chariot card, it led you to build your self-esteem up in such a way that you can really accomplish anything in this lifetime. There's this vibe that you have the motivation to go ahead and get it done and the motivation to do it. I see that the thing is like you don't have a lot of inner conflict compared to other people, or at least that's how I'm seeing it. Your true self is someone who's more often at peace than not. And that's a really good thing. That's a really positive thing. I'm not seeing too many like challenges on an internal level with you guys. Now on the external level, how people perceive you, it's sort of a different story. Not that there's challenges per se, it's just that people are perceiving you a little bit differently than how you view your true self. So first of all, with the elephant here, people view you as very, very wise, very, very intelligent, very, very wise. I wouldn't be surprised if people come to you for wisdom. With the elephant here, we have him holding the torch, or he's holding a little flame with his trunk. And I am seeing this as kind of like you guys enlightening others or bringing the light to others. We also have this red dot on this elephant's third eye, indicating that this elephant's very intuitive, but with the flames here, the fire, he's putting that intuition into action. So even though you guys might think you're intuitive on the inside, and maybe you think you use it for yourself with that ace of clubs, people really benefit from your intuition. So you might not be realizing that you're sharing your intuition that often with people. For example, you might say something that you don't think is that intuitive, but it's coming from that intuitive core that you have. And so people do perceive you as wise. They do perceive you as intelligent. With this elephant's tusk kind of chipped off and the 5 of cups, I am seeing people do view you as a little jaded. That's kind of one thing that people perceive about you, is that they think, you know what, group 1 is a little jaded. Like they've seen a lot or they've been through a lot and they're a little jaded, which is interesting to read in this reading, because I see that you guys view yourself as such a positive person with this youthfulness of the sun. There's this vibe that like you feel like you are experiencing life for like the first time is kind of how I'm seeing it. Like you don't feel jaded on the inside, but on the outside people say, oh, they're a little jaded. They've been through it. They have the chip on their shoulder. They've seen a lot. That's kind of the vibe that I'm getting. With the star card here, I am seeing that some people view you a little spacey. That's a message that comes through, that's coming through right now that I don't really pick up that often with the star card. There is this vibe that you guys might have a lot of ideas. I'm getting the vibe of like the star tends to traditionally resonate with like Aquarius energy. And I'm getting this fact of like that you guys have a lot of ideas, or you guys come up with a lot of ideas, or people see you that way. They think like that's a person who has a lot of ideas. That's a person who's coming up with a lot of ways to do things. That's a person who is, that's someone who kind of has brilliant plans and brilliant ideas. I feel like if you're in a group of people and everyone's brainstorming like a way to get something done, if you share your idea, people really listen to your idea. It's almost like the room kind of stops. You guys might have noticed this, other ideas get put on the back burner. Just be careful, because some people who might want to share their idea too might feel overshadowed by you guys, because your idea is just kind of the one that usually works out in the end, is kind of what I'm seeing. You guys have this brilliant mind, and it's showing through in your outer way that people perceive you as well. That's one thing that people are perceiving you on the outside that is also how you feel on the inside, basically. There's a sense of having a brilliant mind. You guys could have Aquarius placements. That could be something that is a possibility. But yeah, there's something about having really brilliant ideas, and also those ideas making you popular. Like people really like the stuff that comes out of your head. People like hearing the things that you think about. And it's funny because I see that you guys might not see too often or perceive this about yourself that often, because I think when you're having conversation, people don't maybe recognize this aspect of you or say like, oh, that was really smart. I think people just secretly enjoy it because you kind of just pump it out, is kind of what I'm seeing. You pump out this like perspective and this kind of idea generating attitude that kind of comes out of you. With 8 of Swords here, people do see that you are restricted in some way with your body. So this could manifest in a lot of different ways. Maybe you have a physical handicap, or maybe people see your body as something that holds you back, is kind of what I'm seeing. So there could be something that you guys, maybe you have something in your physical body. Maybe you're very lethargic as a person is kind of a vibe that I'm picking up. Maybe you guys have a slower way of moving around or a slower way of being or talking or something like that. There's some kind of physical manifestation on your outer appearance that people see that could be holding you back. They think, oh man, I don't, it sucks that they have this thing because I think it's holding them back. If it's not a physical thing, which I am picking up, it's a physical thing or something about, it could even be like, in some cases, it could be that people feel like your appearance in general is holding you back. This can be that maybe they feel like you maybe over-identify with your appearance for some of you, and for others of you, maybe they feel like you don't identify with your appearance enough. So there is this kind of vibe that people think that if you put a little more effort into your physical appearance, that other people would respond to you better or something like that. It's kind of a thought people think of, is kind of what I'm seeing. With Eight of Swords, though, if it's not a physical handicap or if it's not something with your outer appearance, with the Eight of Swords here, I am seeing people see you a little bit sometimes that you play the victim, that you might be someone who kind of feels like life has been hard on them. They feel like I think they sympathize with you. They definitely sympathize with you and know that you've had a tough life. They just don't like to see you wallowing in that side of yourself. That is kind of like, how do I put this? It's kind of these empathy pains. People see you hurting, and there's this point where I think at one point they don't want to, how do I put this? They don't want to engage because it pains them to see you hurting so much, if that makes sense. So they kind of get turned off by it in longer interactions with you or something like that. They kind of get turned off by it because it's there's this vibe of man, they're never going to be healed. They're never going to be okay, which is interesting because on the inside, we see that you view yourself as someone who's very sunny, very bright, very fun-loving, very positive, very optimistic. But on the outside, we have this vibe of kind of something getting in the way. The thing is, I'm seeing this with something with your physical appearance. I'm not really seeing the psychological component that much. For a rare few of you, that's the case. So what I mentioned about the psychological component, where people feel like, you're holding yourself back through complaining or something like that, or maybe they think that you just kind of hold yourself back with a victim mindset is kind of what I'm seeing. Honestly, I feel for you guys because I feel like you really have been through a lot. But they worry you dwell on your problems is kind of what I'm seeing. So there is a slight discrepancy where on the outside you guys have maybe more of a pessimistic attitude, but on the inside you have this well of optimism that's bubbling up within you, and this playful spirit that kind of wants to come out and play and engage with people. But on the outside, there's this kind of lower effect that people see, right? With the elephant here, there is this vibe of worn but wiser, right? You've been through it. People think that you've been through it. You're wise. You have this attitude that you've been there, done that. You know everything about life that there is to know, and people really respect that side of you. So this is just a small thing that comes with being a wise person, or people perceiving you as a wise person. This is kind of the same thing with people viewing you as kind of a little bit jaded, right? With the Five of Cups here, people see that sometimes there's two things here. You could look at the cup half empty, right? Or you could grieve with others, or you could share your negative emotions more easily with others. But the main thing that I'm seeing here is people see that it's kind of blending in with this problem-solving aspect of the Queen of Cups, right? I'm seeing this kind of synergy between the two. There's this vibe of when something's broken or not working anymore, you guys have a way of problem solving your way into seeing a more positive solution, right? You could solve a problem and then realize that the solution is through solving the problem is looking at something at the other side of it, essentially, looking at something from a different perspective. And so the one thing that I'm seeing here with the Queen of Cups and the Five of Cups is on the inside, you guys feel like you have this, you're very intuitive, you solve problems easily, all this kind of stuff. But on the outside, people don't see the work that goes into you guys flipping perspectives all the time. They don't really see what work goes into the fact that makes you this wise person. They just know you're very wise. That's how they perceive you. With the Five of Cups here, they don't realize, people think that with the Five of Cups that you can just switch your mood on the outside, if you just switched your mood on the outside, then you would have the solution. They think that's how you establish the solution. But what I'm seeing here is it comes from a deep well of like knowing and independence. I'm seeing that you guys kind of have to be alone to think these things through and to come up with these solutions. And so with the Five of Cups here, there's just this vibe of them thinking you need to kind of like, it's like you need to they're like, oh, just swap your emotion or just switch your emotion or just be happy. There's kind of a vibe here of that where people think that like, oh, if they just swap that emotion for this one, they'll have the problem solved. But there's really a lot more that goes into it is kind of what I'm seeing. You guys have a lot more on the inside, problem solving wise, to fix something that on the outside people think is like simple, if that makes sense. With the Two of Diamonds here, people also perceive you as kind of someone who really loves social connections, which is kind of at a discrepancy with your Ace card. There's this vibe that people feel like you really want to work in partnerships, you want to collaborate. There's this vibe that you're very organized, or you have this ability to wheel and deal different like dynamics. Like you guys might be good salespeople. You might strike good win-win solutions. I am kind of seeing that here with this problem-solving ability. You guys have this way of like, people view you as like a diplomatic person is kind of what I'm saying. You guys don't see yourself that way, but people view you as someone who can like be diplomatic or kind of like talk to different parties and get a consensus in the group or something like that, especially along business deals and money-making ventures, right? With it being a diamond here, I see that where you guys view yourself as primarily intellectual and intuitive, people see you as more of an action person, right? They see you as kind of like an action person, specifically with your ideas is kind of what I'm seeing. With your ideas, your energy, they see you as someone who takes action and likes to work in groups. Now, the unifying element to the reading is the diopside, the Mother Earth card. And we have this vibe that like nature is really going to sync up both sides of your personality. So connecting with the earth, connecting, like standing out in a field of grass or something barefoot and letting yourself connect with the earth, or going to the ocean and letting yourself get tumbled around in the waves, or going to the mountains and taking a hike through a wooded terrain, whatever it is that connects you to earth, even going to the desert and kind of hiking around in the desert or something like that, or going camping in the desert and looking at the night sky and the stars. There is this vibe that connecting with the earth is going to benefit you, especially in the realms of bringing out your sun energy, right? Bringing out your positivity that's on the inside and letting it shine on the outside. Because I'm seeing here that people, even though they view you as kind of like, it's almost like, they almost view you as a negative Nancy, but it's not that extreme. It's just kind of like a perspective thing. I think they see that like maybe you have a more negative perspective or an outwardly negative perspective some of the time, which is interesting because on the inside you guys are so positive, right? But like on the outside they see maybe their perspective's a little more dark or jaded or chip on the shoulder. They don't really know how to fully embrace newness in life or something like that. I'm seeing with this Mother Earth card, right? It's going to bridge these two sides of your nature. So for example, your true self who appreciates and loves new things and is really, how do I put this, energetic and lighthearted and joyful and intuitive. I see that all those qualities are going to come out to you. I do see that with the Queen of Cups here and the Star, you guys have that idea generation, that problem solving thing down pat. Like I think that's something that's on the inside that's translating well on the outside. But with this positivity or the happiness, just the emotion of happiness or success or positivity or joy, to have it translate on the outside, I do see that connecting with the earth is beneficial. Your friends might say, if they've ever been on a camping trip with you or out in nature with you, they might say like, whoa, your personality took a 180. Like this camping trip has been so good to you, like you're glowing. So you might hear things like that where when you've walked out in nature or when you come back from a trip or somewhere where you've connected with Mother Earth, people like compliment you, they say you're glowing. With this Eight of Swords here, they might really like your appearance, where before they thought, oh, maybe something in their appearance holds them back. They might say like, whoa, they've got it together. Their appearance looks on point. And I see that it's just connecting with nature more is kind of the vibe that I'm seeing here. Because your energy is kind of getting fueled by this nature. Like it's like nature's like bridging the inner and outer worlds to putting them together is kind of what I'm seeing. Specifically taking your inner world and making it shine on your outer world, which in this group, I'm seeing that's like the main thing. That maybe you guys have realized that some people view you as maybe more of a pessimistic person, when really on the inside, you're very, very optimistic. So to get that optimism to shine out, to get that sun to shine through, it's like going and working with the earth in all these different ways, shapes, and forms is going to really bring that positivity out into the world around you, right? Yeah, so if you guys don't already connect with nature, nature's going to be really important for you to connect with. And if it's like, if this is a new thing for you guys, I guarantee you it's going to be like a change, like a physical change. Like when you guys go on your first camping trip, or when you go your first time to the ocean or something like that, there's this vibe that when you come back, people just feel like you're glowing, right? Because you have this kind of like youth that's coming from within you, you know? If you think about it, think of it like this, like people see you as so old and jaded, or like not old, but like wise and jaded. And with the otter here, we have this youthful energy, right? Imagine connecting with the earth, right? The oldest, wisest thing of all, right? The thing that's been here the longest before humans have even been here, right? Well, some people argue differently, but say the earth's been here longer than humans. It's like you're connecting with this deep well of knowledge, right? And somehow it makes your wise self that is on the outside, it makes you feel young again, or being able to express that youth outwardly. It's kind of hard to explain. I can't really like put my finger on the exact dynamic that happens with it. I just know that's the dynamic. So if you guys like this reading, please like or comment below. If you really enjoy this reading, feel free to subscribe to the channel. With that said, we're going to move on to the next group. Thank you guys again so much for watching. I truly enjoyed reading for you. It was a great honor and pleasure to read for you today. And I will see you guys in a future Pick a Card. Bye. Hey, group 2, this is if you picked the Rhodonite, so this lovely red stone. This will be your reading. So let's get right into it. First, I'm going to draw some Animal Oracle cards, Kim Cran's deck. And we're going to get your true self on the left side. So let's get a true self card for group 2. What card represents, this does not want to go back in. We have Dolphin. And what card for their outer self, or how people perceive them? What is how people perceive them? How is their outer self being perceived? Okay, we have Panther. Okay. Some tarot cards. We need 3 tarot cards for their true self. Okay, this card wants to come out. We have the 4 of Wands. Let's get another card for their true self. We have the 7 of Cups. And we also have the 3 of Wands. And let's get a card for how people perceive you. Whoa, the deck just went crazy. I'm seeing 2 cards right off the bat. Okay, 3 cards right off the bat. We have the 10 of Pentacles, the Knight of Cups, and the 2 of Cups. Wow. Okay, the deck just like went wild. Okay, so I'll try to take that into account in the reading. Let's see. These cards over here. Okay, and then we get a playing card for your true self first. Okay, we had one that kind of popped up, but I went back in, so I'm going to keep shuffling. What's a playing card for group 2's true self? We have the King of Diamonds. And we need another playing card for how people perceive them. We have the 3 of Diamonds. Okay. Last but not least, I'm going to pull, this is a new deck on the channel, Crystal Reading Cards by Rachel Charman. And we have this one, we have Success. Whoa, okay, I have a little hair on the table. Okay, let's get that off. Okay, so let's see. Okay. Okay, let's get into your reading. So first, your true self. With the Dolphin card, I'm not getting too much from it. I'm getting mainly other energy from the rest of the cards. But the main thing with the Dolphin card I want to mention is that the dolphins are very playful and very intelligent. The other thing that's coming to mind is that they see things through sonar, right? Like they use echolocation, kind of like bats do, in order to perceive things in their environment. So with the water symbol here, that is your intuitive gift, is kind of what I'm seeing. And that's how you identify yourself or your true self, is that you guys have this way of projecting a signal out into the world and then changing the world or your perception of the world. So when you go out into the world, you can see clearly. The best way I can describe this is, it's gonna be hard to describe it because honestly, like I have not, I don't do this, I don't think, but I know that there's people that do. Okay, so it's like, a good way to describe, okay, I've done this. Okay, so I have these generator crystals in my house, right? And I set them up to change the environment in my neighborhood, right? And I will do like focus my energy on them and like send out the intention that I want the generated crystal to magnify into my environment, right? And so what happens with this energy is that when I go and I travel outside my house, everything looks different to me. Everything has changed. And it could be my perception that's changed, or it could be the environment itself that's changed. I'm saying you guys do something similar. You somehow send out an intuitive signal into your environment. It's almost like a beam or something. It's like a thought, like maybe you guys send out a thought, and then in your environment, you start to see that thought feedback come back to you through the environment. And so it's this way of how you maneuver around in the world, how you see the world, and how you communicate with the world. The best way to describe it is it's like in your brain saying like, I want to see this sign, or I want to see this physical sign. I want to see these angel numbers, whatever it is, right? You guys set the intention, you project it out. And then when you see that sign, it helps you navigate your way through life, essentially, or it helps you navigate the way through your environment, right? Maybe you are scrolling through Instagram and you see a purple car. And so then you start to think like, whoa, a purple car, like, that to me, that signifies, maybe you're thinking about love at the time. So you're saying, if I see a purple car, that means I'm on the right path to finding love. So when you go out into the world, maybe you see a purple car and you're like, whoa, there's that purple car. And maybe you realize that like when it's driving by, there's another person behind them and that person looks like a person you would want to date. Maybe you get a more intuitive hit of like, maybe that's the person I should go for, right? It's going to work along those lines. The best way to describe it is that you're using an intuitive echolocation, sonar, I think it's called sonar. And, you're sending out a vibration into the world and it's going to be reflected back at you. So it's like you're living in your own head sometimes, or it can be like you're living, how do I put this? This is kind of, I think this is something like this is common in the manifestation community, or how do I put this? People talk about how the universe is just a reflection of us, right? I've heard this in like circles on the internet, right? And so one thing that I'm seeing is that's kind of like very true for you guys. Like that's how you feel truly like on the inside. That's how your life truly is. For some people, they might not feel that way, right? But for you guys, you definitely feel that way is kind of what I'm feeling for you. So that's the thing that's coming through with the dolphin. That's how you guys use your intuition. That's how you get intuitive knowledge. So for example, you might not get like premonitions inside your own mind of intuitive information that's to come, but you might actually just see it in the outer world as like representations of what your mind thought of initially, if that makes sense. That could be like premonitions if you think of it, but it's really like you're creating the signal, right? You're sending out the signal, you're creating the signal, and then the world is reflecting it back at you. Let's get into more of how your true self is. With the Four of Wands here, your true self loves to party. I feel like you guys really just want to let loose. You want to have fun. You want to get down with your friends. Like there's this vibe of having fun. House parties is coming to mind. Maybe you guys like to throw parties in your house or something like that. Or maybe you like to have get-togethers where you have friends over or something like that. I also see that there's this kind of vibe of waiting for, with the Three of Wands and the Four of Wands here, there's this vibe of waiting for a specific milestone in your life, or waiting for something to come in, waiting for yourself to receive a gift or receive a manifestation, back to that sonar, right? And then receiving it and really enjoying and celebrating the moment that you receive it. Another thing too with the Seven of Cups here that I'm seeing is you guys have a lot of options in life, or at least you feel that way. You feel like the world is your smorgasbord. Like there's unlimited things you could do, and no matter what, you're never going to run out of things to do. There's kind of like this vibe that the world is your oyster. You have this kind of curiosity about things is what I'm seeing. And every option seems different and exciting and thrilling, but like different from the other options. So you guys have this inner world of like feeling like there's tons of possibility, right? There's tons of possibility in the universe, and there's all these different things you can do and see and touch and taste and feel. And so it's like you have all these options that you get to experience in this lifetime. And I'm seeing that you guys are meant to kind of experience a lot of this stuff. With the King of Diamonds, I think you guys view yourself as more of a manager or in a managerial position. You view yourselves as a leader, especially with like as far as like taking action goes. So for example, you guys might try to control the actions of the people around you, if that makes sense. There's this vibe of saying like, you know what, I think this person should go here. I think this person should do that. I think this person should help me with this. There's this vibe of like, you're not afraid to ask people for help is kind of like how you view yourself. And your true self is this version of yourself that's taking responsibility, right? Your true self wants to take responsibility. It craves that. It wants to be a leader. It wants to be at the helm, essentially. And it wants to be doing that action alongside everyone else, right? With the King of Diamonds here, I am seeing that something you guys might dream about or think about is having your own business or being in charge of others in a business capacity. So that's something to think about in the future. If you are looking for something like a path to take and you're confused about that, maybe starting your own business could be beneficial. With the Three of Wands here, I do see with this dolphin here, part of the part for you of like being in your position in this lifetime is waiting for the sign, right? With the Three of Wands, this talks about waiting for something to come in. Sometimes it can be as simple as waiting for a package in the mail, right? But the thing that I see with the ships in the background, I'm thinking like import, export, right? Like things being sent out across the globe and then things being brought in from across the globe. And so there's this vibe of like, when you send out your sonar, it's just a matter of waiting for the right thing to, it's like you're waiting for the sonar to come back and hit you so you know what to do next is kind of the vibe that I'm getting. So yeah, it's a really cool thing of like how you see the world essentially. And I don't think everyone's like, a lot of people would disagree with me. They would say that for everyone, the universe is a reflection of their inner selves. And I might get a lot of flack for saying this, but like, I think that it's only true for some people, but it's definitely true for you guys is kind of what I'm seeing. Let's get into how people perceive you now. So first of all, people perceive you as a fighter. We get this with the Panther spirit, but a fighter that is pure of heart. So I feel like you guys have a really strong and powerful heart chakra. The image I'm getting is like your heart on fire, or there's kind of like flame inside you that kind of spurns you into action. We have two diamonds here in the playing card situation, so people view you as very action oriented as well, and you also view yourself as kind of like as a ruler or a leader of action. The thing is, I'm seeing that you guys are definitely take action. With the three here, people view you as creative. There's this vibe that people view you as someone who is like not afraid to do multiple things at once is kind of what I'm seeing. And you're very creative. People think of you as someone who has a lot of streams of revenue for some reason. People think that, oh, they have a lot of projects going on. They have a lot of ways of making money, or they put their foot in a lot of different doors in their way to like receive income from the universe, right? They feel like you guys spread out wide and far and you have a lot of different opportunities that you're involved in, which is interesting because it kind of ties in with this Seven of Cups energy here, where you guys feel that you have unlimited opportunities to do different things in this lifetime. So people definitely see you as someone who's a multitasker is kind of what I'm seeing. And people think that maybe even if you just know that you have a lot of options, people feel like you still, how do I put this? For example, you guys might be the type of person who moves from one thing to one thing, and then once one thing's completed, you do the next thing. But the way people perceive it is that you kind of have this ability to do it all, or like you do it all at once or something like that, or you're kind of planting seeds for success is kind of what I'm seeing. With the Ten of Pentacles, people feel that you're very rich and you come from a wealthy family. There's something about people feel like you come from a wealthy family, or you present yourself like you come from a wealthy family. There's something very noble about you guys that makes that people think that like, whoa, they come from royalty, or they come from wealth, or they come from success. They have a lot of like money handed to them. There's something along the line, and this is not the case. People see that you have this royal nature to you, and you will have like descendants that are wealthy, is kind of the vibe that I'm getting. There's this vibe with Ten of Pentacles of generational wealth. So that's something that's people perceive in you as you're like a component or a small part of a whole larger picture of generational wealth. So people feel like royalty around you is kind of what I'm seeing. And that goes along with your king, right? Where you guys have this royal attitude. But with the Ten of Pentacles here, people see that you're a part of this bigger picture of royalty is kind of what I'm seeing. With the Knight of Cups here, people see you as very romantic, very alluring, and they see you as always delivering good news. So there's something about whenever you guys talk to people or whatever you share with them, people are like, oh my gosh, I love talking to them because they always have something good to say. And it's like always some positive thing. Like there's this vibe that you always have positive news to deliver. Like if you, like, I know it's a very random message that doesn't come up often, but like there's this vibe that no matter what, like people are like, I'm going to hear something good from them. So that's really cool. Like I'm going to hear something good from them. I'm really excited. Like they always have something positive to say. I'm really excited to hear that good news, you know? So people really like that. People really like that you deliver such a positive message. Since I'm touching the Two of Cups, I might as well talk about it. The Two of Cups here is indicating a few things. So first, the Two of Cups is indicating that people think you are taken. So if you're single and you're looking to mingle, people don't view you as someone who's single. They view you as someone who's already taken, already with someone. And if they find out you're single, they're like perplexed. They're like, what? You should be with someone. Like you're the type of person who has a partner. Like you're the type of person who's always with someone. So with the Panther spirit here, it's interesting because I see that you guys, even though you're very assertive, I think that's one of the reasons people view you as someone who has a partner, because people see you as someone who's very assertive or very like dominant, and you have a passionate heart. So they see you as someone who can easily get a relationship, right? But with this Two of Cups, people might be surprised to find out you're single if you are. If you are with a partner, people want to know what's about your relationship. Like they want to know the secrets about it. They want to know like all the ins and outs. Like what is it about your relationship that makes it successful? What is it that you do? People feel like even if your relationship's not successful, people view your relationship with rose-colored glasses to the point where they're like, wow, you guys have a great relationship. Like, what do you do? Like, what's the secret to success and love? And if you guys are not in a relationship yet, I think when you do have a partner, people are going to be asking you a lot of questions. Like, how do you make it work? How do you keep it fresh? How do you do all this stuff to like have a positive relationship? Like, I'm struggling with my partner. What do you guys do to have such a passionate relationship? I think a lot of that is people see this passion that you have on the outside, and they see your passionate heart, and they know there's some good stuff going on behind closed doors. I'll say that. And so they want to pick your brain. They want to see like what the secret is. Like, how are you, like, how does your relationship, like this, a success this long? Like you guys are like the perfect couple. Like how come, you know, you guys don't fight, or how come when you do fight, you guys don't take it seriously? Or there's something along those lines where people just view you in your relationships as someone who's a very positive partner, a very person who is, willing to share, willing to commit. And if you're not taken, people wonder what you're still doing on the market. They're like, why are they still on the market? Where is their person? Because, and also this is a sign with the Two of Cups. If you guys are single, you probably are going to have a person in your future. I do see you guys too. You might be people that aren't single for long is kind of what I'm seeing, that there might be this vibe where maybe you've had a lot of partners, or because I am saying that people view you this way. They view you as very like passionate. This is how they perceive you, that you've had a lot of partners, or there's just this fire to you guys, and people think a lot of people are attracted to that fire. Like in these cups, I'll show you guys. In these cups, there's like these butterflies or moths flying out of the cups. And I'm kind of seeing this moth attracted to the flame vibe. They think people are just attracted to you left and right. One thing that is going to tie in the whole picture. Also, real quick, people also see you as impulsive. They perceive you as a little bit impulsive, or like jumping on the spur of the moment, like seizing the day, essentially. People see you as someone who seizes the day. Like, I'm not going to wait another minute. Like, I'm going to seize the day. I'm going to go for it. We have that again with the Knight energy here, with the movement, the sense of movement. But let's get into to tie it all together, right? For the most part, your inner world matches your outer world a little bit. Like, to me, it makes sense. Group one, there was a little bit of discrepancy, but for you guys, it makes sense. Like, these opportunities that you kind of feel like the world's your smorgasbord, right? because this echolocation just really presents things to you that like are things you can just really grab and take a hold of and like ride out. Like it's almost like a dolphin catching a wave, right? You're like using sonar to like catch the wave, and right in these 7 of cups, all these different cups with different things in them, you're like, ooh, I like this wave, I'll ride on that. Ooh, I like this wave, I'll ride on that. So there's this vibe that you guys are kind of just playful internally. You're always looking for the next wave. You're always looking for the next wave to ride on. With success, or this is the thing that ties it together. I feel like people will start to see the inner you the more success you have in life. So the higher you reach as far as like your outward success, the more people will see the real you. The thing that I'm thinking is maybe you guys had a past where your true self was very not in alignment with how people perceived you. I see that once you become successful, it's gonna fit very nicely together. It's like success is the thing that kind of like bridges the distance. And I do see that it's destined. I am seeing that that comes with this card here. It's that you're destined for success. So whatever success means to you, whatever you value in this world, especially with the diamonds energy, it's whatever you value, you will achieve it. The thing that I remember reading in my cardology book is the 3 of diamonds could be a card that becomes a millionaire in this lifetime. It's going to obviously not a message for everyone, but like the 3 of diamonds does indicate like having a lot of money by the end of life is kind of what I'm seeing here, especially with the success card applying as well. Yeah, I'm going to end the reading there. If you guys like this reading, please like or comment below. If you really enjoyed this reading, feel free to subscribe to my channel. We're always welcoming new subscribers here at Cody Tarot. With that said, we're going to move on to the next group. Thank you guys again so much for watching. I really enjoyed reading for you. It was a pleasure, and I will see you in the next pick a card. Bye. Hey, group 3. This is if you picked the Prehnite. Someone in a comment on a previous video said this stone looked like sugar glazed grapes. And I don't even know if that's a real food, but I've never had that before to eat. I'm definitely gonna have some grapes actually at my house. Sadly, I only like the red kind. I don't like green grapes. But yeah, I'm gonna eat some grapes after this reading. I feel a sense of joy coming to this pile. So, and also I've been wondering where this crystal is. I actually lost this crystal in my house, and I was like wondering where it was. It was right in plain sight. I've seen all along. I moved it to a different location because I was like, I want to use this in a reading again. I want to use the Prehnite again. Okay, so fun fact about this crystal. If you haven't seen it on the channel lately and you're like an old viewer of mine, here it is again, the green grapes, the Prehnite. Okay, so let's get a card for your true self. We have Mouse coming out, and we'll get a card for how people perceive you, and we have Vulture. And let's get tarot cards. We're going to get 3 cards for your true self. This card kind of doesn't want to go back in. We have the Knight of Wands. Let's get another card for your true self. We have the King of Cups. Let's get another card for your true self. This card doesn't want to go back. We have the Magician. They're going to need to get some cards for how people perceive you. Feeling like shuffling the deck slower. We have the High Priestess. Wow. And we have the Hierophant. Okay. Let's see. Let's get one more card. We have the Death card. Let's get you guys some playing cards. We'll get you 1 card for how your true self is. Right now, we have this card that wants to come out. We have Ace of Spades. And we need another card for how people perceive you. And we have 5 of Diamonds. Cool. Okay. last but not least, we're going to pull a Crystal Reading Cards by Rachel Charman. Crystal Reading Cards by Rachel Charman. This is a new deck. We have Shine. Let's like off a little bit. Let's do that. Okay. Okay, let's get into your reading. So I am feeling like when I brought this crystal out, there was like this sense of bubbly joy that I was feeling. And then when I set the cards out on the table, it was interesting because the cards don't represent the bubbly joy feeling that I got initially. So I'm wondering if like, because I'm associating these cards with a specific energy, and the energy of the Prehnite, and like setting the Prehnite back on the table and feeling both those energies out. I'm feeling like you guys might be a type of person that I've never met before, or you might be a type of person that has attributes from two other different people I've met in my life. So if the reading feels disjointed, or like I'm talking about two different people, but it still sounds like you in some way, keep that in mind, because I have probably little life experience with someone like you, if that makes sense. So I apologize in advance if the reading's not like perfectly accurate. But let's get into it. So with the mouse card, we see you're represented as someone that has kind of a sense of stability about you. We see that again here with the King of Cups here. But with this mouse, we have all these little dots, or colorful dots flying around the mouse. And we have the Ace of Spades. The Ace of Spades is one of the most, how do I put it, sacred cards in the systems of cardology. It represents kind of like secret societies, orders. It represents the occult. It represents secret knowledge. It represents knowing things. It does represent secrets as well. But I am seeing there's this vibe that like, whether you guys realize it or not, you're guided by spirits, or you're guided by entities that kind of surround you. And I'm not trying to freak you guys out or anything, because not a lot of people like to hear that, right? These are positive entities is what I'm seeing, but they can make you feel small or insignificant is kind of what I'm kind of seeing with the mouse card, because I am seeing with this earth symbol, you guys want stability, you want, functionality, you want kind of like a sturdiness to you. You guys might be earth signs. But the thing is with these spirits, I feel like they're really protecting you, and they're surrounding you and protecting you in like significant ways. They also guide you to find secrets in this world is kind of what I'm seeing. With the Knight of Wands here, I do see you guys view yourselves as very passionate. I feel like you guys have a strong inner drive to be passionate with others, at least in a romantic sphere or an intimate sphere. I feel like you guys, it's almost like you want something to resonate with you, not just like emotionally in a relationship, but you want something that sexually resonates with you too. Like you guys are kind of in a way driven by sex a little bit. Not necessarily in the traditional way you can think of it, but you just have a very passionate core to yourself, and you kind of see things in the realm of like sexual dynamics. It's kind of like how you view things, or it's a strong way that you view the world is kind of what I'm seeing. With the King of Cups here, you guys are very good at handling emergencies, or you feel like you're very good at handling emergencies. I feel like not a lot surprises you. And with the King of Cups here, I feel like you guys are really deep into your intuition. So whether you realize it or not, like the King of Cups is this guy, and he, like if you think of water representing intuition, and you think of the sequence of the court cards in like traditional tarot, the King of Cups, he's like the furthest, he's the one surrounded by the most water, right? He's in the middle of the ocean. He's just sitting on his throne, his throne for his royalty that he's sitting in, and he's surrounded by water. I mean, even in this card, he's surrounded by water, just sitting on his throne. So you can think of this as someone who's fully like surrounded by intuitive information, intuitive influences. You guys are really like, the thing with the King of Cups, he has to keep very balanced, or else he'll start drowning in the intuitive information that he's receiving. So this is someone who, like, you guys are someone who has so deep into your intuition that it's hard to keep hold of reality sometimes. Like, you have to remain very balanced in order to keep afloat sometimes. So I feel like with you guys, grounding crystals could be beneficial as well. There's a vibe of like working with the grounding stone that could help bring you back to earth if you ever wanted to, because I am saying you guys feel you're surrounded by intuitive information. That's your true self. With the magician, I feel like you guys feel like you have all the tools you need to succeed in life. It feels like you guys feel well provided for in a sense, and you feel like there's this sense that you could really manifest anything you wanted. I feel like also with the magician here, you guys feel like students, or you feel like someone who is learning things from others. And I feel like you are kind of really focused on your tools, or your, like, how do I put it? You probably have like things that you use in your everyday life, either in your spiritual practice or just like a good example of this would be like a mechanic who has like a special wrench that he uses with all the cars that he operates on. And he like always carries this wrench with him. Or someone who's like someone who, is a fashion designer and they're always carrying like a needle and thread or something like that. This is kind of whatever your passion project is. I am seeing that you have the tools, or you like to have the tools with you at all times when you're working on this project, right? You want to have like, for example, if you're a psychic or something, you want to have your tarot cards with you, or you want to have your astro dice, or if you are a Reiki healer, you want to have like your set of crystals with you or something like that. There's this vibe of wanting to have your tools on you at all times, or feeling very connected to the tools that you use. I even see that sometimes these spiritual influences that surround you could show themselves as tools to you. Take that if it resonates. But yeah, something about the tools you work with. Spiritual influences are also guiding you to use specific tools. So they'll help you find specific tools that you need on your journey. So whether you are just a mechanic or a fashion designer or a psychic, whatever, it could be numerous examples besides those three. Your spirit guides or the spirits that are surrounding you are helping you, guiding you to find these tools, right? They're helping you to guide you to find these things that you need in this world. With the ace here being here, I feel like you guys like to start projects. With the ace here, it represents new beginnings. It represents beginnings in general. I feel like endings and beginnings mean a lot to you guys. I feel like we see this again here with the death card. People view you as someone who is connected to endings and beginnings as well. Even though you guys feel more insignificant and more stable, you feel more practical in a sense, people view you with the vulture and the death card here as someone who's more darker or more mysterious and wants their freedom or independence away from people, which is interesting because the ace talks about being independent or working alone, right? It talks about going at things alone, doing things on your own. Specifically with secrets and occult information, you guys might find that working with others in the occult doesn't resonate with you as much, possibly. That you guys actually need a lot of alone time to process things and to recharge and to learn and to do things on your own, separate from the group or other people that are studying occult information. Let's get into how people perceive you, because I already started tapping into that, so let's get into it. So with the vulture card here, with the air symbol, I do see people see you as someone who needs their freedom. They see you as someone who doesn't want to be attached. They see you as someone who is independent. They see you as someone who likes to survey things from a high distance and kind of be once removed from the situation. With the high priestess, or the Hierophant and the high priestess, there is this vibe that people see you as some kind of figure, or that you should be some kind of religious figure or spiritual figure. That's something that's coming through strong, that people feel like you should be working in a spiritual sense with other people. The Hierophant talks about groups of people and working with groups as the leader or the teacher of the group. And the High Priestess talks about kind of like that isolated sense of intuition, knowing things that other people don't know, or being in that perspective where you see things that other people don't see, right? The High Priestess is the card that represents that third eye energy, right? And so I am seeing with the Ace of Spades here, the Magician, the High Priestess, and the Hierophant, there's so much spiritual energy surrounding you guys. And people see that. It leaks out. So if you didn't think people saw your spiritual side, it leaks out. People know you're intuitive. They know you're spiritual. They see you as someone that needs to be, like, they see you as a figure, like a leadership figure or something. They see you as an authority on spirituality. They see you as an authority on the metaphysical. They see you as an authority in the realms of intuition. Yeah, with the vulture card here, the people also see you as someone who doesn't waste things, is kind of what I'm seeing. I feel like you guys use every little bit of everything you have. And also, there's this vibe that you're closely connected with the end of life. That's kind of the thing that I'm seeing here with these spirits surrounding you. There's this vibe that you guys are connected to the end of life, especially with the death card here. It's coming out very like strongly in two ways, but strongly just dealing with death itself, that you guys might be people who might strongly deal with death or know that death is something that is a part of life, or you're very comfortable with death or something like that. Again, with these little animals that are skeletons working around this woman, I am seeing this vibe of like a shaman or someone who works with spirits. So if you guys, I think you'd be surprised if you haven't started working with spiritual energy, or even angels or spirit guides. You can even just say, like, when you're communicating with spirits, just be like, spirits, just say plain simple spirits. Or if you have a specific deceased loved one, you can call on them to help you. But if you start working with spirits, I think your energy will increase tenfold. And I feel like you guys will start to feel safer in the world around you. And you'll feel like you have someone on your side through life, right? Like you'll feel like you have someone with you on your side is kind of the vibe that I'm getting. With the 5 of diamonds here, this is kind of coming through a little disjointed from the rest of the energy, but people see you as somewhat of an adventurer, right? They see you as someone who's an action taker, and you're not afraid to take actions to go on adventures. So people see you as someone who's kind of like an initiator of adventures or activities, or someone who's almost like, you could be a daredevil, but the thing that I'm seeing is you just like want to initiate, and change is really relevant in your life as well. With 5 representing change, it's like change is a big factor for you guys. Specifically with death here, endings could be very important, or closing chapters in your life to bring in the new in your life is kind of what I'm seeing. Could be something that's happening. With the death card representing endings and the ace representing beginnings, I am seeing this fact that you guys go through life dealing with these endings and these beginnings. With the Hierophant, people do look to you for spiritual advice. You guys would succeed if you started your own spiritual community. You guys are the types of people that, if you wanted to, you could create your own cult, be ethical about any religious organization you start, but you could create a following, based on like your spiritual understanding of the world, is kind of what I'm seeing here. Okay, so the main thing that I'm getting for the energy, as far as like, actually, let me take one more second. I'm going to look at the cards one more time and see if there's anything I missed. I don't think so. Yeah, okay, so the energy that's bringing it all together, right, with Ruby Shine, I feel like you guys are pretty well integrated. How people perceive you is kind of how you are on the inside. The interesting thing here is people perceive you as a little more spiritual than you actually feel you are, right? For example, I feel like you guys are more focused on physical things on the inside, but then you're spiritual, you come off as spiritual on the outside. So, for example, you might come off as like very dreamy, or you have an outer attitude or an outer persona that looks very spiritual. Maybe you wear a lot of like, crystals or things like that, or maybe the way you dress is very dark and mysterious. People see you as someone who's connected to the darker side of life. Maybe you dress very like gothic in a sense, or maybe you dress in a way that makes people feel like there's just something, they're touched by something that's not of this world, basically. And people can perceive this in you, but it's interesting because I don't know if you guys perceive it in yourselves. With the Knight of Wands energy here, you guys do see things in like realms of like sexual attitude. So you do see people as like, oh, this person's more dominant, this person's more submissive. Or you see someone as like, that person's hot, this person's not. I think of you guys, and it goes beyond just that. Those are like very surface areas for this, but I think you guys see the idiosyncrasies in people's natures as far as their physical components, their physical drives. With King of Cups, you are surrounded by intuitive information. You do view yourself this way, but it's almost like the Magician and the Knight of Wands represents more fiery energy is kind of what I'm seeing. And with the Earth symbol here, it's more stability. That is kind of the thing that it's like you guys want to find a passionate connection that's really stable, right? Like something that lights you up, but at the same time you can feel comfortable in. And with the Magician here, I feel like you guys are really attached to like your tools, and you want to be the type of person who can like manifest things, right? Now, other people are going to see you as someone who is dispensing information, right? The Hierophant and the High Priestess are both cards about dispensing information or having the knowledge to tell people things. So I feel like if people come to you and they're like looking for answers, sometimes you guys might not know what to tell them because maybe you don't have the answers like people think you do. With the Ace of Spades here, I do see this can be helped by like studying more occult knowledge, occult information. I do see you guys have a desire for that. You do have a desire to, also with the Spades energy here, I do see you guys could be more perfectionistic in nature as far as like how you keep your surroundings or how you deal with yourself or something like that. There's something about wanting to work hard for what you want to get in life or something like that. But the thing that, besides that, but the thing that ties it all in together with Ruby is shine, right? First of all, Ruby is a red stone and it deals with the root chakra. So it's very almost grounding, but it's kind of has this energized feel to it as well. It's like grounding, but like close to being a grounding stone, but it also has a component of energy to it. I say that could be a very beneficial stone for you guys. First of all, just come side note, the ruby stone could be very beneficial for you. And it's interesting that it's represented as a sphere here, and you pick the Prehnite with the spheres here, because I am seeing with the ruby and the sphere stone, maybe working with stones that are shaped as spheres could be beneficial for you. So even if you have a stone, getting it in the shape of a circle or a sphere could really represent, it could just be a good shape to work with. I don't know if you guys get into like crystal shapes. I know that's a thing for some people. For me, it is too. Like for example, this, I'm going to pick this up right here. This is my rose quartz sphere. So it's just all the way around. It's just rose quartz. Anyway, yeah, that's just a rose quartz sphere. But you could get like a ruby sphere, like a tiny ruby ball or something like that, or a circle or a ruby ring with like a circle of a ruby or something like that. But shine, let's get to the element right down here. The thing that's going to help you in this world is letting out some of your inside stuff into your outer environment, right? It's going to get people to see you more realistically. And not project this kind of larger than life, mysterious, like this person is like the dispenser of intuitive information and they're like the wisest person I've ever met kind of vibe, when really you guys don't. It's almost like you don't want to be this person, or if you are, you could be this person, right? But it's almost like you would be playing part of a role, right? I feel like for you guys, you're more focused on staying afloat in this lifetime, and you're more protected by spirits yourselves, right? But it's interesting because these spirits are around you, people are drawn to you because of this. People are drawn to your energy because of this. But shining, like letting out some of that passion, for example, or letting out, or taking care of some situations in you guys might feel like you're good at handling emergencies, but maybe not actually taking on emergency situations. So taking on some situations or stepping up and taking the lead in certain situations could benefit you. And then also like sharing your tools with others. So for example, like using your tools with other people. So maybe you are really into mechanic stuff or a fashion designer. So kind of wear your tools like you would wear other aspects of your attire, and people will start to resonate with the tools that you're wearing. It's kind of like, how do I put it? If you kind of wear symbols on your outer appearance that show what you are on the inside, people will start to kind of see that of you. Because I do see that like the way you guys dress is very dark, mysterious, and you are very intuitive. I feel like you guys are swimming in intuitive information, right? You're just kind of so, like, the vibe is like you're so dreamy or in a daze or something like that, that people just see that you're from another world or something like that. So the vibe here is like getting grounded and letting yourself shine, letting that kind of passionate, more intense energy of yourself, maybe that more grounded energy, let it shine through, right? Let that more initiative kind of startup vibe kind of shine through. Okay, I'm going to end the reading there. If you guys like this reading, please like or comment below. If you really like this reading, feel free to subscribe to the channel. And with that said, we're going to move on to the next group. I really enjoyed reading for you guys today. It was a lot of fun. I'm glad I got to bring the Prehnite out again. And with that said, I'm going to move on to the next group. And thank you guys again for letting me read for you. Bye. Hey, group 4, this is if you picked the yellow Leopardskin. So let's get right into your reading. So starting off, we're going to get a animal oracle card to represent your true self, or the self that you see yourself as. And we have moth. Then we also need a card to represent how people perceive you guys. And we have the lion. And let's get some tarot cards out on the table. We're going to need 3 cards to represent how you see your true self. We have 5 of Wands and 8 of Pentacles. These cards came out, but I'm not taking them. They're the Page of Wands and the Queen of Wands. I felt really called to just take the top 2. So let's see what else is coming out for you guys. This card wants to come out. We have the 2 of Swords. And then we need some cards to represent how people perceive you. We have the World. Cool. Whoa. Okay, so we have the Page of Pentacles and the 7 of Wands, and then a lot of other cards flipped out, but we're not taking them. Let's see. Okay. Let's get you guys some playing cards. One to represent your inner selves. This one, we have 5 of Hearts to represent your inner self or your true self. And we have, I'm gonna keep shuffling. We need one to represent how people perceive group 4. We have the 6 of Spades. Then we also need a crystal reading card by Rachel Charman. This one doesn't want to go back. We have Compassion. Okay, I feel called to start the reading. I looked over the cards for a little bit, and bits and pieces are coming to me with this reading, but it's a more difficult reading than the other ones. Normally my last group 4, is like an easier read, but today it's a little bit more difficult. But I'm gonna do my best. So with the Moth card, the way you guys view yourself as someone who's just attracted to passion, or you're attracted to the flame, essentially. So you're attracted to passionate people, or you're attracted to passionate projects. I feel like you guys have a passionate side to yourself. Also with the green color of the Moth, I do see you guys, especially a little bit of yellow down here. There's this vibe that your solar plexus and your heart chakra are truly activated when you truly feel in alignment with yourself. And so doing things that you feel passionate about, or that your heart's in, like doing things your heart's in, are really important. I do see sometimes you guys get a little carried away with the Moth to the Flame example. There's this vibe of like, maybe sometimes you throw yourself too full force into your endeavors, or you put yourself too much into the project. There's this vibe of like getting burned because you get too close, is kind of the vibe that I'm seeing. Which is funny because you're represented by this independent symbol right here with the air symbol. So you are represented someone who wants to be independent, but it's a weird situation. It's either like you feel like you want to be independent, but really like when you look deep within yourself, you're like a slave to your desires, or you're a slave to your passions, or something like that. There's something that like you can't stop doing something. Or you just keep going towards something that keeps burning you, is kind of the vibe that I'm getting. And this is kind of the self that you're like viewing yourself, or your true self kind of struggles with this in this lifetime. With the 5 of Hearts here, another aspect of your true self, you guys are adventurous. You like to travel, you like change, you like to go places. I feel like you guys love talking to lots of different people. You love meeting loads of different people. You love socializing, you love engaging. this is kind of just the vibe that I'm seeing, or this is the vibe that like you guys view yourselves as. You view yourselves as a very social person. Also with the Eight of Pentacles here, I do see you guys view yourselves as a very hard worker. And this guy does feel like he's alone to me. So I do feel like this guy, this Eight of Pentacles, feels like he's alone working. So I feel like even though you guys have this side of yourself that's very social, or how you view yourself as very social and very like emotional when you're out with other people, when you're alone and to yourself, you're very logical, or you're very focused on practical things, basically. There's this vibe that you're focused on crafts and projects, and if people watched your life when you were by yourself, they'd be like, whoa, that's a very repetitive existence. I feel like you guys get into a routine, you stay in that routine, and you have this way of making that routine work to your advantage to bring you that stability that you need. Also with Five of Wands, I feel like you guys feel like you're very competitive. I feel like you view yourself as very competitive. I feel like you feel at your best when you're being competitive with others. Specifically your peers or other people who are on the same level as you. I feel like you guys, the way you view yourself is like, whoa, I got to get a one up on this person, or I got to get a one up on that person, or I really enjoy sparring with this person. You guys might actually enjoy debates. And I'm also saying with the Five of Wands here with the Two of Swords, another message is coming to mind where you guys have difficulty making decisions, or there's this aspect where the cards are saying it's better to listen to your intuition for answers than to think of like logically, like which way is the right way to go, right? I see you guys are intuitive, or you're meant to use your intuition, but the thing here is sometimes your logic points you in two different directions, you know? I'm seeing a very kind of like complicated inner world is kind of what I'm seeing. First of all, I'm seeing that you guys have a lot of perspectives going around in your head, and that's why you like getting in debates with people. It's like this kind of vicious cycle that you enjoy, but at the same time plagues you. It's like, yeah, I love talking about things with others. I love getting in debates with others. I love hearing their perspectives. I love sharing my perspective. But then I get all these perspectives in my head and they confuse me, you know, because I'm discussing things with people all the time, you know? So there's this kind of vibe of that with you guys as your truest self. And with Two of Swords here, I do see that on your inside, you have this vibe of like, your logic might be trying to make you make a choice, right? And then your passion is overriding any sense of logic and wanting to go full force into the situation, whatever it is that your passion's drawn to, right? You have your passionate side that wants to just go full force, 100%, steam ahead in that one direction, right? Your logical side is like, wait, take a moment, think about your choices. But even then, the logic side of you, it's kind of in this way blocking your passion, but at the same time, it's not letting any movement happen. I am seeing a very complicated person here. I feel like you guys are very like unique in the sense that you have a very complicated inner world. The key here is your intuition, which I feel for you guys, because your intuition is not the strongest component in your sense of self, but it is the component that will get you, that is the solution to all problems, is kind of what I'm seeing. First of all, the intuition is going to point to which way you should go with your logic. It's like the logic's not going to determine it, it's just blocking your path. The intuition is going to let this woman lower her swords and let you through. And also the intuition is going to slow down that passion so you don't actually get burnt by your desire or what you're going towards, right? You can actually observe it before you get burnt, right? The intuition is a perceptive thing, right? The logic is what stops you. The intuition is what you're looking through, right? The third eye is an eye. It can see things, right? It's observing things. So if you think about this with the Two of Swords, the thing here is it's like your passion wants to go full steam ahead. The swords are blocking you, but then the eye, when you open that eye, you can see past these swords with this moon over here, and you can see what's in front of you, and you can see, oh, would this burn me? Would it not burn me? Oh, I can go ahead with this passion because it's not going to burn me. Because I do see that sometimes these passions don't necessarily burn you guys. It's like you're just not looking ahead is kind of what I'm seeing. You're not noticing what it is before you go full steam ahead. And so I am seeing that like your intuition could be very beneficial. Also having intuitive friends could be very beneficial as well. Yeah, so let's get into how people perceive you. First of all, with Lion here, people perceive you as a leader. They feel you're very regal. They feel you're very beautiful. They feel you are someone who deserves to be on top. They respect your position on top. I feel like people look at you like you are it's not like you're royalty. It's more like you deserve to be the leader. It's like you deserve to be the king of the pack. Like you are, people view you as the alpha, right? It's like you don't have to say you're the alpha, right? Like some people who are like alphas, right? Quote unquote alphas, they like have to prove that they're an alpha all the time. You guys actually just are an alpha. People just respect you. They look up to you. They appreciate you. I don't think anyone would ever go against you or turn their back on you or backstab you. You're very well respected is kind of what I'm seeing. And respect is a big word here. I feel like people really respect you a lot. With the world card, I do see that you guys have this ability to connect with people of different cultures. I feel if you guys were to travel, you would, how do I put this? You would receive a lot of benefits from traveling. With the Seven of Wands here, I do feel like you guys, people feel like you work really hard to keep your position, and they feel like you don't have to. They feel like you don't have to work that hard to hold on to what you've got, right? There is this element that even though people respect you, even though they think you're very beautiful, they know that you work hard, right? They see that you work hard, or they seeing this perspective of you working hard, and they know that, you know, you don't have to be alone in this, right? Like they would help you achieve certain obstacles, overcome things. There's this vibe that people feel a little sympathetic towards you because they feel like you work really hard to maintain your position on top, when really everyone thinks like they don't need to work that hard. Like we all want them to be the leader. We all want them to be the head of this situation. Like they're an amazing leader. They're wonderful. They're magnanimous, right? You guys are like the type of, I mean, honestly, I wish I could have met you guys in real life, right? I mean, obviously you might post in the comments and stuff like that, and I'll see you guys a little bit, but like, this is kind of the boss energy I wish I had. I mean, I'm glad of my situation with my previous employment because, now I do this, you know, YouTube channel and I'm like self-employed and all that stuff. But like with the Lion card here, the vibe that I'm getting is that you guys would have been a great boss, a great leader. You really, I feel like you listen to the people around you. With Page of Pentacles, this is showing again that you're very admired and you know how to admire the talents of others and make them feel good about themselves. That's kind of the vibe that I'm getting. And people just really respect your position as a leader. With Six of Spades here, I feel like fate takes a big hand in your life and people perceive this. They think that sometimes things happen to you that are unfair and they feel it's like very unfair for these things to happen to you. They're like, whoa, why did that have to happen to group 4? Like they don't deserve that. Like that's not fair. And so with Six of Spades here, I do see you guys deal with a little bit of karma from your past lives. That's affecting you in this lifetime. So stuff that maybe you're not really, how do I put this? There's just a lot of fated events that happen in your life is kind of the way I'm going to say it for you guys. There's this vibe of like your life seems fated or destined, or there seems like there's a path before you and you're destined to be on it, right? That's how people perceive you. They feel like you have a destined path is kind of what I'm saying. These people who perceive you this way also see you as very worldly, very educated. They also see you as someone who just can really get along with people of other cultures and other ethnicities and other ways of thinking. They see you as someone who's very worldly and accepts all these different viewpoints is kind of the vibe that I'm getting. Also with Page of Pentacles, some of these people might see you as kind of young or that you're on the beginning of your journey, that you have a long way to go, but they still wouldn't want it any other way. They still want you to be the leader. And they feel like you don't have to work so hard. They feel like you could maintain this position of respect without working as hard as you do. Now it's interesting because on the inside, you guys have this very like complicated inner world, right? And you have this way of viewing yourself that's like very different than the outside perspective. This is one of those situations where we had a few groups in today's readings where the inside was like this positive, beautiful thing. And then the outside was something that was a little more negative, but that like how people perceive them was a little more negative. But, and the integration was the key to like bring the inner to the outer world. For you guys, it's more about bringing how people perceive you into your inner world. It's about like recognizing that what people are perceiving in you is part of you, you know? It is part of you. I think you guys focus on this complicated inner world because I think when you guys are thinking internally, you think in terms of problems or you think in terms of like negatives in a way, but then on your outer world, you keep things very positive, light, and carefree, right? Yeah, I'm seeing that one thing that's like the key to you guys. I'm going to skip ahead to this last part of the reading. I feel called to do that right now. With the Emerald card, Compassion, I do feel like something that is going to be very beneficial for you guys is to show your compassionate side to others. And there's another thing that's coming through, because even though people respect you and they admire you and they think you're a great leader, I think that you guys keep a lot bottled up, or you keep a lot to yourself, or you have a very conflicted inner world. And the thing that I'm seeing with Compassion, it's almost like you're going to receive a kindness in the future. This is kind of the vibe that I got at the beginning of this reading, and I thought to myself, like, okay, it has to go both ways, right? They're going to have to give compassion or receive compassion, but I already think you guys give a lot of compassion out. I do feel like you guys are very compassionate already. So I am seeing this as someone being compassionate towards you. Something's going to happen where someone's compassionate towards you, and that's going to make you realize how worth it you are, right? How much you don't have to struggle, or how much it's like the compassion unlocks your intuition is kind of the vibe that I'm getting, especially with this heart chakra emerald, and this heart is the moth. You guys have that glowing heart chakra, right? Also, the thing that's coming to mind is follow your heart, right? Like, even if it doesn't feel like it's your intuition, sometimes your heart and your intuition are the same. You guys actually might have this experience where you have your third eye and your heart beaming at the same time or something like that. But I definitely see that you guys have a compassionate side to you. Or if you aren't being compassionate yet, I do see that if you act compassionate and you really hold your hand out for the struggles of others, I feel like other people... There's just this vibe that, like, with the 6 here, people are going to give you what you put out, essentially. So there's this vibe, too, that, like, I think that one day you're going to have someone come up to you and they're just going to treat you in the best way possible, the way you really want to be treated. I mean, this is how people perceive you, right? People perceive you as someone they respect. I mean, people already are trying to treat you well, right? Because they see that you have this high position and that you've earned it, and that you're a great leader, and you treat them with compassion, you treat them with kindness, you admire their abilities, right? The thing that I'm seeing is someone's going to treat you with compassion one day, and that's going to help unlock your intuition. You can already access your intuition now. You can work on it, right? But I think that when this person comes up to you and they treat you with this sense of compassion, they hold out their hand to you, and they help you when you're going through a tough time, I really think you guys are going to blossom after that, like, incredibly. I think that the outer world of how people see you is going to start to sink into your inner world of this kind of, like, complicated inner self, and it's going to cause some soothingness. Soothingness, that's not a word. It's going to cause, like, your heart to be soothed. And I feel like you're going to feel this sense of soothing kind of serenity overcome you. And in a way, it's interesting because I do see you guys being more peaceful on the inside, you know, and not afraid to share your complicated nature with others on the outside, you know, and still maintaining this position of how people perceive you, right? I don't think that's ever going to change. I think people are always going to perceive you as a good person. They're always going to respect you. They're always going to know you're an amazing leader, right? It's just a matter of getting this complicated inner world, getting a little light from the outside in, right? Which I think that if someone, you know, holds their hand out to you, when you open up to them, or if you ever open up to them, it's going to be very life-changing. And I definitely see this happening. You know, not everyone is going to treat you the way you want to be treated when you open up about your inner world, right? Or your true self. Some people aren't going to like your true self. Some people will like your true self. But there's this one person that I'm seeing in the future who reaches out to you in a way that really resonates and sees who you truly are. I'm getting kind of emotional talking about it. And it's just going to unlock your personality. I think you're going to live a completely different life than you're used to, not in a material sense or in a mundane sense, but in a spiritual sense. So, yeah, I'm going to end the reading there. If you guys like that reading, like or comment below. If you really enjoyed this reading, feel free to subscribe to my channel. We're always welcoming new subscribers here at Cody Tarot. And with that said, that's the last pick a card for today. I really enjoyed reading for you guys, especially this group. I feel like the message was important. Like, this message felt important to me. So you guys can let me know if it resonated with you on that same level. I really enjoyed it. It was an honor to read for you guys today, and I'll see you in the next pick a card. Bye.